there you are. We've been waiting for you. Come on in. I'll give you a quick little tour. Come on. Welcome to Stonington Middle School. I'm your principal and tour guide, Mr. Smith.
So it's really quite simple. The Stonington Middle School building is like a giant backwards L. You can see it right here. So on the base of the L are all the large area classrooms, large space classrooms. These are the front doors where you come in from the bus. And then in this main hallway, we have the music rooms at this end, band, chorus, and our music annex. Directly opposite the front doors is our gym. A little bit further down that main hallway is the cafeteria. And at the end of the main hallway is the library. So that's the base of our backwards L. The perpendicular part of the L is the academic wing. So it's the same on the first and second floor. It's just classroom after classroom down to the end. On the first floor, there is an exit before the last set of science classrooms right here. But that's really all there is to it, to the building. It's a giant backwards L where all of the large space classrooms are on the baseline, and the perpendicular part of the L is our academic wing. Just that simple.
So now that we're inside, this is the main lobby. When you come in from the bus, you come in these main doors, and you stay right here in the main lobby for a while until the bell rings to go to homeroom. So I'm going to give you this tour, but please recognize that we're in the process of cleaning and getting ready for next school year, so things are kind of a mess. We'll have it all cleaned up and put away before you guys arrive at school. So pardon our appearance, but I'll give you the quick tour of the school. So let's start by going down to the music suite. Okay, let's take a walk down to the music rooms. So the first music room on the right is our chorus room, where Mrs. Gilbert works with choral students. As you can see, it's a great big space. We have some large choral groups. The blue tables that you're seeing at the back of the room are for one of our encore classes where we teach kids how to play in a handbell choir. So this is the chorus room. Next, we'll go right next door to the band room. By the way, there's a bathroom right there. Water fountain. And, whoops, room 137, band room. Again, it's another large space, lots of windows. As you can see, lots of instruments, lots of stuff going on up here. Mr. Kohansky and Mr. Manning teach the large ensemble band groups in this room. And then the last music room is right across the hall, and we call it the music annex now. It's room 136. And this is the room where Mr. Manning teaches, I guess you can guess, guitar and keyboards, along with some small group lesson space. Some specialty groups meet in here. This is Mr. Manning's music annex. So those are the three music rooms. So when we go back out here to the main hallway, you can see the whole thing. We'll walk back to the lobby now. And we'll head into the gym. Okay, so this is our gym. On that end is the girls' locker room. And on this end is the boys' locker room. And, it's a pretty standard gym. Scoreboard, flag, clock, beautiful floor, beautiful logo. And that's our gym. Let's head back out down the hallway. Okay, now that we're back out in the main hallway, let's walk down this way. First thing you'll notice on our left this is the school office. This is where our secretaries, Mrs. Barnes and Mrs. Champ, work. The school office is where you go when your parents have dropped something off that you've forgotten, or to get a bus pass, or any number of things. Mrs. Barnes and Mrs. Champ can be really, really helpful. All right, keep going down the hallway here. Right here, right before we get to the cafeteria, we have one of those bottle filling water fountains where you can fill up your reusable drink bottle every day. This was given to the school by a gift from the last 8th grade class from Stonington Middle. We use it a lot. It's pretty cool. Next up is the cafeteria. Again, everything's in the process of being cleaned, but as you can see, it's a pretty big spot. Lots of room. In here what we have is how the kitchen works for lunch. Is the door on the left is where you go in if you want hot lunch. The door to the right is where you go in for a la carte items. They have some hot things like chicken patties and hot dogs some days, but you can also get sandwiches and salads. And then both lines come out the middle set of doors to the register, as you can see right there. All the way over to the right, that last door is where you would return your trays and empty your trash at the end of lunch. Okay, let's head back out in the hallway. Okay, we're almost done with the base of our backwards L. We're heading towards the end of the main hallway, and down here is our library and media center. So the library is a place where obviously you can go and get books, but sometimes we also have classes that are scheduled in the library. This is the librarian's desk where you check out books. And then this is the library. It's nice and big. It's got these huge windows. It looks out over our playing field for gym. So when we have gym outside, that's where you go. And it's really nice. It's a great field. It's level. It's kept really in good condition. And it's a lot of fun. Oh, back to reality. Library. We have a second floor overlook in a hallway up there that goes to a set of classrooms through that door, but we'll get to that later. So here's the library. And one other feature I want to show you of the library is sometimes the classrooms in the library are scheduled in what we like to call the library classroom. It's all the way to the back of the library. Sometimes it'll say room 116. And let's get the lights on. Oh, there they go. So again, we're moving a bunch of stuff, but we have a classroom set up here for some classes, some library classes, and some health classes actually meet in here because it's nice and close to the gym for the gym teachers to come and teach a separate health class. So that's room 116, or the library classroom. Okay, now we're back out in the main hallway, and you can see all the way down there is where the music rooms were. Before we go down the upright part of our backwards L to the academic wing, I do want to show you guys, right outside the library, we do have an elevator, and this is where it's located, right next to the library. The elevator is only for students who need a wheelchair or on crutches, and the nurse gives everybody a pass to do that. So please don't use the elevator unless you are one of those people or one of those people helping one of those people. Okay, so here's the upright part of our academic wing of our backwards L, and it's the same first floor and second floor. So the sixth grade classrooms are actually split. Some are upstairs and some are downstairs, but we'll get to that. So let's go down the hall a little bit. First thing you come to is a set of stairs. Now, there are two sets of stairs in our school, one at this end of the academic wing and one all the way down there at the other end of the academic wing. The important thing to know is that this first set of stairs in the academic wing is the only one that goes down to the ground floor. We'll go down there in a minute. But right now, let's stay here. To the left of the stairs is a entranceway to the office. Students should use the main entrance, not this one, but it's just another way to get into the office area from the hallway. Moving on down the hall, something really important that you'll need to know is this is where the nurse's office is. Should you ever need to go to the nurse, it's right at the end of the hallway. Opposite that is our school-based health center. So all of our health and medical facilities are right here at the beginning of the first floor. Moving down the first floor is where we start getting into our 6th grade classrooms. We have room 115, Mrs. Keppel's classroom. A little bit further next door is 113, Mrs. Jordan's room. So let's take a peek in Mrs. Jordan's room. So all the rooms in our school are pretty much the same. They all pretty much just look like this. And across the hall from Mrs. Jordan is Mrs. Sullivan's science classroom. So again, it's a science classroom, so there are science tables, but it's pretty much the same kind of room as all the other rooms. So those are the 3 6th grade classrooms on the first floor. The other 4 are upstairs. But one thing I did want to point out is that those are the 6th grade rooms. There's a water fountain right here. There's a girls' room. And right next door, there's a boys' bathroom. So that's really convenient. Near your classrooms, you can get a drink of water and use the restroom without having to go too far down the road. So I'm going to take a quick walk with you down the end. So after we get past these 6th grade classrooms with the doors open, the rest of this academic wing is where all of the 8th graders live. The only time you'll ever have to come down this hallway is if you're a parent pickup at school dismissal time at the end of the day, because the way that works is you come all the way down to the end of this hallway. It's a long hallway, but you'll be fine. And at the end of the 8th grade hallway is the exit for the parent pickups. So you'll go through these doors and your parents' cars will be lined up there. You'll go down the stairs out to the sidewalk. There'll be a crossing guard to help you, and you'll get in your car and go home with who's ever picking you up. Okay, now that we're back down at this end of the hallway where we first came in, let's go upstairs and look at the 4 6th grade rooms that are upstairs. Up the stairs we go. There's a bulletin board at the top of every staircase for announcements and things going on. Okay. So, same thing as downstairs. It's a long hallway of classrooms. So here we have the 4 6th grade classrooms. Mrs. Nero's math classroom is here. And, sorry, didn't mean to make you dizzy there. Mrs. Elliott's room, 215. See how similar all the rooms are? They're all pretty much the same. Next to Mrs. Elliott is 213, which is Mrs. McGugan. That's a guy who forgot to go home for the summer and last year, and well, he ended up that way. Anyway, so again, all the rooms are pretty much the same. And then across the hall, room 210, Mr. McLaughlin's science room. Again, science tables, because it's a science room. Other than that, it's not that much different than all of the other rooms. And, like I said, downstairs, you've got drinking fountain, girls' bathroom, and boys' bathroom right here, conveniently located by all of your classrooms. So you never have to go too far. So here's probably the most difficult part of the tour. So you come up these stairs. I showed you what this hallway is. We've got the 4th, 6th grade rooms, and then all of the other rooms are 7th grade classrooms down to the end. If you go to the left at the stairs, there's this weird little hallway. That brings you back to that part of the library that I showed. Oh, yeah, and that's where the elevator comes up to the 2nd floor if you take the elevator. But I was telling you how we have this balcony up here in our library, and it gives you a really good look at our athletic field for gym, an overview of the library, and there actually are a couple of classrooms down here. If you keep going, there's Mrs. Helger and Mrs. Palumbo's classroom here, which they mostly work with 8th graders, so don't need to know that. And then room 220 here at the end is a computer lab. So let's take a look in 220, because this is a classroom that you may have to go to sometimes. It's a pretty standard computer lab with computers and seating around the edges and a double row in the middle center island. Room 220, computer lab. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go back downstairs and show you the ground floor. Okay, so if you remember from the beginning of the tour, we just came into the academic hallway, and this is our first stairwell. And as I showed you, there's a downstairs from the 1st floor to the ground floor. And again, this is the only stairwell that goes down there. The other stairwell all the way down by those 8th grade rooms only goes up. So let's go down and take a look. So down here on the ground floor is where we have art classes and our world language classes, Spanish and French. There are also some lockers down here. Okay, so here we are at the bottom of the stairs onto the ground floor. So when you get down to this hallway, you can go right or you can go left. And if you go left towards the short side, you go down another hallway to the art room. And that's where the elevator comes down to the ground floor, right by the art room. So as you can see, this is ground floor 06, art. It's a great space. It's a big room with lots of windows that look right outside. Let's see how big this room is. And one thing I just want to mention, even though there's only one stairway that goes to the ground floor, there are multiple exits out of the ground floor. In the case of an emergency like a fire drill, everybody can get out from the different classrooms down here without having to go back up the one stairwell that comes down. Also down here, there's a girls' bathroom and a boys' bathroom. And now let's take a look at what happens when you go right at the end of the stairs. In the middle of the ground floor, we have our world language rooms. They're together through this doorway where we have French on this side and Spanish on that side. So again, Beautiful classrooms with lots of windows, exit door, and across the hall, Spanish. Same kind of classroom. So that's world language. Now we'll go to the end of the ground floor hallway. And down here at the end, we have two things. We have an additional art room for some other kinds of art classes. A little bit smaller room. This used to be a computer lab at one point, if you might guess, but we use it for additional art classes. There's another emergency exit. And then the last thing down here is our Compass program room, which is a specialized resource room for some students to use. See, it's a big space, nice space. Again, doors and windows right out onto the ground floor. And so that's our tour of the ground floor. Now we'll go to the end of the ground floor hallway. And down here at the end, we have two things. We have an additional art room for some other kinds of art classes. A little bit smaller room. This used to be a computer lab at one point, if you might guess, but we use it for additional art classes. There's another emergency exit. And then the last thing down here is our Compass program room, which is a specialized resource room for some students to use. See, it's a big space, nice space. Again, doors and windows right out onto the ground floor. And so that's our tour of the ground floor. Okay, so that's our tour. Like I said, we're looking forward to having you here with us next year as Stonington Middle School Stingrays, and everything will be ready for you. It's really simple. You're not going to get lost. It's a great building. Everything's right where you need it and easy to get to, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.